Is up, RotoGrinders, 6 o'clock on the East Coast at the start of an hour and a half, 90 minutes, nonstop NBA DFS conversation. Later on, Crunch Time, we get Kevin Roth holding it down with Kirkwood, leader of the Juggalo Nation, and Chopper also jumping in on Crunch Time today. But I believe for the first time ever, I'm fairly certain the first time ever, I think. Actually, it's going to be TJ in for Kirkwood. We got a late swap. Was Kirkwood traded? Was he one more? Did he slide in the back door as far as a last-second deal that I was not aware of? But hopefully not. It was a good run otherwise. But, yeah, myself and Noto, you know from such things as, like, everything. Core plays for years, the grind down for years. He'll never write another NBA grind down. That's in his contract, I believe. I'm not sure. I've not checked it myself, but I can't imagine you want to. Noto, how are things in your world?
Yeah, doing good. The grind downs. I think the editors hated that article as much as I did. Having to read it and edit 13 pages on big slates. But yeah, doing good. Appreciate Chop swapping me shows. I'm actually got a baby appointment. Having a baby, if you didn't know.
I did. I didn't know that. It's funny. I was wondering. I'm like, Chop. He never appears on Crunch Time. I don't know if you guys did a swapperoo, but yeah, congratulations to you. How far along are we?
Due late May. So yeah, we're kind of hitting the reset button. I have a 9-year-old. She has a 10-year-old. So yeah, it's going from family of 2 to family of 5 real quick.
There you go. That's awesome. Sweet. So you got a sitcom there someplace, I think. Do we have a name? Are you still bouncing back and forth, or we don't got
yeah, going back and forth. It's going to be a baby girl. I kind of like Murphy from Interstellar, but we'll see.
Oh. Yeah. Was Murphy the Anne Hathaway character?
Yeah.
Or the kid, the child.
Cooper's daughter that like saves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Saves. I didn't say what she saved.
Incredible movie though. Christopher Nolan, just absolutely spectacular. That it is. They're asking in chat. It is. You guys got us on a good day. It is a Fleet Thursday. Tell me what athlete we're talking about. We'll get the first clue out of the way. The first clue is not very special. The first clue is the chat's not going to like this. Doesn't really help you out a heck of a lot, but we'll get there. We'll cross out some names. Retired is the first clue. We have 4 more coming. I have some bonus clues if necessary as well. I'll be the first person to tell me what athlete I am talking about. And you get yourself week free of RotoGrinders Premium. Where do you get these answers? Not just in the YouTube. Feel free to get your reps in on YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Hit that like button. Do subscribe. Turn on those notifications. Do all those things. Keep the lights on for us, but give your official guesses. 1 guess per clue drop. No MMing in the Discord channel, rotogrinders.com/Discord, live stream chat channel. I've never told Steve the actual answer, so I got to let producer Steve know the answer as well. But all right. Hey, do you have any quick takeaways as far as the trades? I mean, anything? It felt like to me, have you seen Dexter, the TV show Dexter?
Oh, yeah.
I felt like the deadline was like Dexter. Like Dexter came out strong. It was amazing, but it peaked way too soon. Like, Luca and Fox, that was like the John Lithgow season. And then everything after that it just kind of whimpered. And today was some things happened, but sort of uneventful. That's where my brain went. But
yeah, I didn't think anything was that noteworthy. A lot of rotation guys changing teams. But did you end up watching the new Dexter? I never refired it up.
It's funny. You have to be more specific, but there's multiple new Dexters.
Oh,
yeah. They had a kind of it picked up where the last one left off, and it was like a 1-season one-off. And now they're doing a prequel with young Dexter, which is on right now, or maybe just finished the first season. So there's
different than Young Sheldon or whatever. That's what it's called.
Yeah, a different type of show, but yeah, it's the same sort of. I mean, that's the thing with it's much easier to get something greenlit today if it has some sort of name recognition. It's just, intellectual properties, right? It's just, that's why I was talking on Twitter today with Roth about Gladiator 2. It's like, who asked for Gladiator 2? Who demanded this? But like, it was like, okay, I guess, but it wasn't nearly as good as the first one. And the CGI is outrageous. I'm not sure if you've seen it just yet, but it's kind of silly. The CGI sort of takes you out of the story, but that's just, I think Dexter's got like a new life on Netflix. Like some people are just catching up to it. It's like, oh well, I never had Showtime. This is a really good show. So now, it's hot again, I guess. General takeaways from the trade deadline. You have any general thoughts?
No, nothing major. I've been sweating my golf lineups today, trying to get my Super Bowl showdown content in. So I'm just kind of catching up a little bit too.
How's the waste management treating you?
So far, not great. My lineups are wasted like the crowd. But my buddy, he can't name like one golfer, but he's out there sweet on 18. He was texting me. He was drinking at 9 a.m. this morning, so he's right there with the crowd.
Am I wrong? Is it 17 or 16 that's the spot? You said 18. Isn't 17 the spot you're supposed to be?
So yeah, 16's the par 3 where everyone goes. But I mean, there's 10s and pop-ups on all the big holes on the back 9. So I guess his company sponsored one of the 10th or something.
We got Anthony Davis officially ruled out. He was downgraded to doubtful earlier. We're not going to see him on the first half of the TNT doubleheader. Expected, most likely, quite possibly on Saturday. We're probably going to get the debut of Davis for Dallas and the debut of Luka for the Lakers. Lakers playing in the night game tonight at home versus Golden State. Golden State in the back half of a back-to-back. It's 6 games, and 5 of these teams are in the back half of a back-to-back. That's the Wolves, the Magic, the Nuggets, the Warriors, and the Kings. So, we still got I guess there's a chance there's still some news sprinkling on through, but obviously some lineups are weird because players are just in flux. They're coming and they're going. The lineups are a little bit funky. There was 4 teams I saw that did not make a trade at all. But Portland was one of them that's on this slate. And I don't recall the other 3 off the top of my head for some reason, but Denver, Minnesota, and Orlando, the other 3. So all the teams that did not make a trade are actually on this slate. That's why I noted it. Denver, Minnesota, Orlando, and Portland. Anything else of note that we're kind of waiting for? Because a lot of the news is pretty cleared out for us. Suggs is officially doubtful on the injury report. There is some back half of back-to-back stuff, but we'll see if any news drops. I do think one of the strategies, and we'll kind of talk about it as we go through this game by game, is possibly backloading. Just because it's, half the slate is at 10 o'clock, right? 10 o'clock or 10:30 Indiana and the Clippers. Maybe we get some funkiness. We have Golden State in the back half of back-to-back and travel. And, they're without some pieces. Butler's coming in at some point. Like we saw Pods play a ton of minutes last night. He's projecting as basically the top play in the slate point per dollar. But wouldn't shock me if they do something funky. They did kind of say not too long ago their players are likely to play. And, of course, Wiggins got shipped out as well. Who else? Who did they note recently in the last hour or so? There's a couple players that they mentioned. Moody's questionable. TJD, who did not play yesterday, is probable, and Draymond is probable. Santos is also questionable too. Not that important, but just of note, I suppose. Any information that we're a piece that we're waiting for you, or I think we kind of have most of the stuff that we're, it's pretty clear. Something might come out of nowhere, but I think we're not really reading anything too big unless I'm missing something.
Did you cover Denver?
Denver, yeah.
Yeah, so Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, both questionable. We'll see about them. They have one of the worst matchups on the board, but those guys being out can definitely help with Westbrook out too.
I was looking at Orlando last 10 games. They're 20th in defense for what it's worth.
Okay.
I know on the season they're top 5 and small sample stuff, and I don't know if that has something to do with Banchero. Since Banchero came back, they've been pretty terrible too. I'm not necessarily saying that's the reason, but maybe it's small sample. But Orlando kind of overachieved, I think we could say as well for a while.
For sure.
All right. Let's do it. Let's go ahead. Let's go game by game. Only one game at 7:30. Yeah, 7:30 lock if you guys missed it. That's why we jumped on late. It is the Mavs in Boston. 232 is the total. It's high. It's not tight, though. Boston is a 12-point favorite. We did get Drew Holiday ruled out. So we are anticipating, let's see, we got White, Brown, Tatum, the Zinger, and Horford. That is our projected lineup. And again, we've ruled out Anthony Davis. So Kyrie with all the revenge, Dante Exum, Klay Thompson, Kessler, Edwards. We're projecting him to start. He's been kind of a fake starter these last couple games. Officially on the injury report we have for these two teams, Davis out. Lively, of course, is out. No Powell, no PJ Washington, still out for personal reasons. And Boston is just without Drew Holiday. Start wherever you want to start as far as the first half here of the TNT doubleheader. I don't think this game is going to be terribly popular, but I think Peyton Pritchard's going to be a guy that jumps up a little bit as far as projections. Where are you at as far as the Mavs and Boston?
Yeah, probably not getting a ton of exposure to this game in my main lineup. You can do the revenge narrative. You got Kyrie going against Boston. You got Porzingis going against Dallas. I kind of like the Porzingis side of the revenge narrative if I have to go with one. He's been pretty good recently. And, Dallas' front court just doesn't scare me, especially with Lively out. So I like him. He'll probably slide over and start at the 4, which might give him, an even better matchup. I don't know. Are you prioritizing anybody from Dallas unless you're building a few lineups?
Yeah, you're making one main lineup, I imagine. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, that's what I do.
You're probably not going to play anybody in this game. You might have like a one-off Pritchard, maybe. I'm making a couple main lineups. I guess that's an oxymoron. But yeah, I might just make one that has some players in this game, but otherwise I'm mostly ignoring this game. I do like the angle. I think there's a somewhat of an advantage to playing players early, a player like Tatum. And Tatum, very, very similar in price to LeBron. Ownership-wise, you're going to see LeBron like 3 times his owned. And the thing is, the game is at 7:30. It's going to finish around 10 o'clock, right? Maybe before 10 o'clock. But you'll have that information. You'll know what Tatum did at 9:55 or 9:30. And if Tatum dropped 70, it's like, okay, and you're backloading here as well. Is the plan. And now just get to all the good shots. Play the good play the best plays. And if your Tatum lineup is not great, if Tatum isn't good, you got to change. You got to pivot. It just gives you an extra out. It gives you an extra path. I think that's something to consider. That's my best. Yeah, what do you got?
Every Thanksgiving I do that for the football slate. Just get some guys from the first game and then react to how bad they play or how good they play. And you can kind of go that way. I was just running the on-off without Drew Holiday. So Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Tatum all see pretty nice point per minute boosts. And then Tatum and Porzingis both see 3% usage boosts. So I didn't expect there to be much of a difference because Holiday's kind of a low usage guy at this point. But it seems like a few of the starters get a nice bump.
Yeah, it's also national TV, TNT. So like you get those extra commercials. They want to go a little bit longer. Kyrie matchup, maybe that changes things as well as far as Dallas. He's going to get a ton of usage his way. Last game, in theory, before Davis shows up, going to be tasked with a lot. No Davis and no Washington, of course, no Luka. I didn't run his usage without everybody. Of course, he's never played with Davis, but it's got to be in the 30s, I imagine. So we don't love the matchup here against Boston, but I don't hate the idea of running Kyrie versus Tatum. And then, again, later on in the slate, you can kind of, if this works out, we can just flood to Golden State and the Lakers, things like that. But if it doesn't, then all of a sudden you're playing Pacers or something like that. You're doing something to try to get a little bit different. But this is not one of my favorite games. All in all, it's kind of, it doesn't sound like it's one of yours either.
Yep, I'm with you.
Okay. Let's go ahead and drop that second clue for the people. Oh, Chop's hanging out in chat. What's up, Chopper? Chop's going to be stealing all your takes, just so you know. He's going to repackage them later on for crunch time. No pressure. Clue number 2, and Chop likes to play Fleet Thursday too. He's playing the home version. Clue number 2 is jersey. So retired and jersey. Those are our two clues. We're getting there. I promise you eventually it's all going to make sense. It's tricky right now, but eventually it's going to click. Retired and jersey are the first 2 clues. The second game, it is the Rockets and the T-Wolves. This is the back half of a back-to-back for Minnesota. 214.5 is the total. Not a very appealing number. It is tight, though. Minnesota just a 1-point favorite here. No. As far as who's in and who's out, Steven Adams officially doubtful. Jabari is still out. FDV is still out for Houston. We are anticipating Amen to start with Green. That's Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, Tari Eason, as well as Şengün to take on Conley, Edwards, McDaniels, Reed, and Gobert. Those guys have been playing a ton. Still no Julius Randle. And still no Dante DiVincenzo. Those guys are going to be out for a bit, probably beyond the All-Star break. How about Minnesota and Houston? Does that game excite you a little bit more than the Dallas and Boston?
Yeah, I think I like it a little bit more. Certainly not a game that I want to get a ton of exposure to. But, I like the Minnesota side. We've seen without Randle and Dante in the lineup. Anthony Edwards had a couple big games. Naz Reid, he started the last 2 games. He's put up 47 and 52 fantasy points. He's one of those elite per minute guys that I don't mind playing in bad matchups because he can do a little bit of everything on the floor. So he's probably my favorite play from this game. Rudy Gobert is probably not going to get a lot of love, and he's been much better over the last few weeks. He's top 43 fantasy points in 4 straight games. And they might need to size a little bit in there against Şengün. So I kind of like the front court for Minnesota. Anthony Edwards is always viable when he's going to be low owned. I don't know what to do with Houston. I mean, Amen Thompson, he's been awesome, and he can certainly put up 50 at low ownership, but I don't think I want to play him on the road against Minnesota. Do you have a different take?
I mean, I'm not going to besmirch Amen Thompson. I want all the future stock. I want to buy. I keep hyping him up. I say he's got like top 5 player in the league ceiling eventually. But this is the 3rd game in 4 nights. Houston's been playing a lot of games. He's been playing a ton of minutes. The price is as high as it's ever been. I don't necessarily love the matchup here versus Minnesota, so he's not a top priority. But he's also, again, he's one of those guys that can score 9 points and put up 55 fantasy points. Like, I just love players like that just pepper the box score and do all sorts of things. But yeah, he's probably not going to be in my main lineup, or maybe not any of my lineups. I'm not sure. You mentioned Ant last night. He dropped 49, and Shea said raise. Shea said raise. He dropped 50, which was amazing. The game that nobody cared about because of the way, I guess it was on FanDuel, right? Because he dropped 50 in that game. Just outrageous. And you saw him on the bench. He said he was talking about how he could have had 70. I don't know if you saw it. He's like, I missed some shots. I could have had 70. Yeah, amazing. Nas is the most popular player, as we're seeing right now at 21%, 34 minutes, drawing the start these days in the absence of Randall. I don't have a lot in this game, and it certainly could be good. The slate is kind of sort of haves and have-nots as far as the games and as far as the teams, and I love the rotations, right? If you look at the rotations in this game, we have, 7 or 8 players that are projected to play 34 minutes or more. Amen 38, 37 to Ant, 36 McDaniels. McDaniels at 6'5" is just so hard to get to. It's just really, really hard. There's some sticker shock there, but he's been awesome. And Jalen Green 35, Brooks 34, Nas 34, Gobert. You mentioned Gobert 34. It's not a great center slate outside of, Joker could have like all the usage in the world and just be amazing tonight. And if we lose Murray, right? Like you mentioned the matchup's not great, and we'll talk about it. And we're not going to know about Murray, I don't think, until later. I think there's a good chance Gordon sits as well. Maybe at some point, like efficiency comes into effect, like as far as his teammates for assists. But I guess it's him and MPJ can do their thing all night long. But we'll talk about it. But I don't think I'm getting the Gobert. I'm playing Nas before I'm playing Gobert, but the field is as well is the problem. And
I'm with you. Our boy Don Yeezy locking in Jokic. I don't know. I haven't built my main lineup yet. Got a little bit more time that I'm not on crunch time, so kind of like that. But I'll play around with that. I think we're probably prioritizing the same spend, but we'll get there in a bit.
Yeah, I'm not going to build my lineup before sometimes I'll build a shell just like, this would be an interesting way to go, but it's never going to hold. You're just wasting your time, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to adjust the news and all that kind of stuff. It's good to kind of like, again, get ready and get prepared and all that, but I don't have anything built just yet. But like, am I going to be upset if I land on Nas as the last piece? No, not at all. But I don't think I'm necessarily, seeking it out as something I absolutely have to have. Nothing in this game really screams something I have to have. Chop is Chop's guessing in the YouTube. It is not Jason Kidd for the record, but even if it was Chop, you would not qualify to win. You don't play by the rules. You would not get yourself a week free of RotoGrinders Premium. Let's check out the guesses. And let's see. It's not Don Mattingly or Antonio Brown or John Runyon or Jim Rice or Mike Trout. I just love the random names that are popping in. Somebody guessed Sheffield. It's not I guess it's Gary Sheffield. Eddie Sheffield. It is not Gary Sheffield. Let's get the third clue out there. Again, this is where maybe business might start picking up. The third clue for today's Fleet Thursday would be 98. 98 is the third clue. All right. Tell me who we're talking about. Moving on. Anything else? We're good to go, right?
We're good to go. We did have a question about White Lotus. Was that one of your favorite shows? I watched the first season like this week, actually.
Yeah, it's really good. The first season's excellent. The bellhop is amazing in the first season, right?
Yeah.
He was spectacular. I don't know if you know, but they kind of change over the cast mostly from season to season. So don't get too attached to all the characters, but some come back. The new season starting up. Maybe it already has started up. I'm not sure. Very, very soon. But yeah, it's a good show. I like it. I would recommend it. I assume you liked it? You knocked it out in the weekend?
Yeah, I liked it. Didn't love it. So I'll probably watch season 2 here in a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think which one was better. I don't remember which one I liked more, but I think they're both worth a watch. Steven Zahn in the second season. Aubrey Plaza's in the second season. All right. Let's go ahead and talk about the third game on the slate. Lots of names being thrown out there on the YouTube. Maybe somebody guessed the right name. Maybe. Ooh. Probably not. The Magic, Orlando in Denver tonight. 218.5 is the total. Magic are 6-point dogs. The hardest place to play a back-to-back, I'm told, is on the road in Denver. That's what we're attempting to do. This is a tricky one, right? Because it's 9 o'clock on the East Coast as far as this game. And you might be, I don't know. No, I don't know what your plan is. I don't know what time your appointment is for the child, but are you going to have your phone in hand? Are you going to be adjusting your lineup at some point, waiting for news? I don't know what, because 9 o'clock in Denver is really, really important. And who knows when that news drops. But we kind of talked about it. Several pieces for Denver. That's Gordon, who's questionable. And we also have, Russ is out. We know Russ is out for sure. And I'm missing somebody for some reason. Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray's questionable, which really, really matters. But what is the plan there? Do we have something figured out?
I mean, this is a slate where life kind of takes priority over DFS, unfortunately. So I'm kind of just flying. I'm playing a little less than usual. And kind of just, I might have to sneak off and fix something real quick. So right after the appointment, we got a nephew's birthday party we got to go to. So, it's a busy night.
Oh, my God. Never ends, right?
That's how it goes.
How old's the nephew? What do you get a nephew for their birthday these days?
He just turned 3. We got him a bunch of magnets with pictures of everybody that he knows. So he can start learning the names and all that fun stuff.
That sounds amazing. That sounds really thoughtful.
Yeah. My sister did it for my little one when he was little. So, passed it down.
All right. Orlando, Denver, we kind of ran down the body parts as far as Denver. Currently, we have Murray, Brown, MPJ, that's Porter Jr., Gordon, and Joker starting. But there's a chance that Najee draws a start if we lose Gordon. I don't know who would Pickett sneak in there as far as who do you think sneaks in? I know we have an if-then set up for Denver if they both happen to sit out. I'm pulling it up right now. What is your anticipation? We have minutes-wise if both those players sit, right? We have Gordon and Murray sitting. Joker would have a projection of like 65 DK points, 63 median on FanDuel, 36 minutes. Porter would project around 35 or so. Brown would close it on 30. Strother would get 23, 22 as far as fantasy points as a median projection, 28 minutes. Pickett, not great, but would play 27 minutes. Do you have a direct pivot that you get excited about, or it's just like slight bumps to Porter, Brown, I guess Strother, and Pickett if you're running a bunch of lineups? Same deal with Najee.
Yeah, I think I would just give bumps to the main pieces: MPJ, Brown, Jokic. I don't know. Strother, I don't know much about his game. Pickett, same kind of thing. So I don't know, like who's going to run the point if Murray's out?
Joker
and Pickett, yeah.
I guess. I mean, we can run the on-off stuff, but I imagine his assists would get a bump. His assist percentage would get a bump if we lose Murray. We haven't seen. I don't know if we've seen any games this year. Maybe I missed it without Murray and Westbrook. I don't know if that's happened this season. But yeah, I would imagine it's just going to be point Joker.
Yeah, probably.
And he's expensive, but we also might have a fair bit of cheapies that can kind of make that work. So I'm not sure what I'm doing them just yet, but like I'm certainly always willing to play. I'm never upset if I land on Joker if it kind of makes everything else work.
Yeah, I'm with you. And if there's enough value, you can probably play Joker with LeBron. Maybe I'll see how that looks right now.
You're going to run you want to see what those lineups look like, just the two of them together?
Yeah,
you're going to be getting some Warriors for sure. You might get Pritchard, possibly. I haven't run that yet, but that could be worth a look.
Doesn't look too bad, actually. Yeah, Pritchard, Buddy Hill, Rui,
Yep.
Pods.
Yeah. Yeah, it
kind of like
kind of built itself. And that I think there was somebody who wrote up today on the survey, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm making this up, but there's another cheapie that you didn't mention in that Golden State Laker game you like. I think so.
I have to go look. When you do content 5 hours ago, it's all blur.
Well, he's going to be losing a lot of time. This is his last chance to make a good impression, I think, with the newly acquired, not Luka.
Our boy Jackson Hayes. Hey, he come through. Last time we were on a show together last week, we both liked him, and he had a double-double.
Yeah, and it's been interesting because he's lost a lot of minutes due to blowout. I'm curious how many they would actually give him. Yeah, I like him too because outside of Joker, of course, this is not like an amazing center slate, I don't think. So he's on my list, and of course, if I'm stacking the game up, I mean, I could play up to 5 and 2 and 2, 2 and 3, something like that. I think he might end up my main lineup. We'll see. We'll see how that works out. But I'm almost definitely going to have Denver, at least one Denver piece, even if like both Murray and Gordon happen to play. My guess is we lose at least one. They're on the back half of a back-to-back. Just waiting for some news. Are we getting any news here? It's pretty quiet.
Somebody in chat guaranteed that they're both going to sit. So I don't know what information he's working with, but I like it.
Who's that? Let's see how reputable that person is. Let's mark it down.
He was away a minute ago.
Was it Butto?
Luke something?
Oh,
Lord King Guru.
Oh, he seems to be on top of stuff. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I think I would definitely bet over a half. I think at least one. Gordon finally had a good game yesterday, so good to him. He's been horrendous of late. At least good game. He had 12 or 13 assists. I didn't see how many potentials he had, but that's an insane number. I assume he ran really, really hot as far as his assists. How do we feel about the Magic? Orlando, again, tough spot, back end of a back-to-back in Denver. KCP is questionable. Gary Harris is questionable. I assume Gary Harris doesn't play. He rarely plays back-to-backs. Suggs is doubtful. And, of course, brother Moritz Wagner is out. Your thoughts as far as Orlando?
They're not for me. I don't like any of them. What about you?
I'm the same way. Yeah. We don't play a ton of lineups. If I was playing, 10, 15, 20 lineups, especially if Denver loses some pieces, I like it as a stack. I would work in some Franz. I would work in some Banchero. The rest, I don't think I like. We are projecting Harris and KCP in right now. KCP to get 30, Harris to get 15. What would change if, trying to think if anybody would spike up, like Black all of a sudden? I don't think I get terribly excited about anybody. Is there anybody that would actually get a big enough boost for you to care? Maybe Cole Anthony would get a few more minutes his way, but
yeah, probably not for me, just because there's so many good values already. I don't know. I was just looking through Franz's game log. I mean, his usage rate, 35, 37, 33, 38, 39. That's incredible usage. So if you're building a bunch of Denver stuff, maybe get a little Franz.
Hammer says Banchero had 0 rebounds last game. I didn't notice that, but that's bad. That's not a lot of rebounds. Yeah, they're just not that appealing. But again, if Denver loses some pieces, I think it makes for an interesting stack. But right now we have no ownership basically going that way. Franz getting 8%, Banchero at 6% on DK, just basically nothing. Bataze getting 2%. There's not a lot going on here on the Orlando side. We shall move on. Before we do move on, we did have a winner in the Discord channel. I'm not going to officially say who it was. We can play out the string if you guys are hanging out on YouTube. We did get a winner for Fleet Thursday, just on those 3 clues. Retired jersey 98, and the 4th clue is Sweethearts. Sweetheart is the 4th clue. So we'll just kind of get the string in, play it out. We got a couple more coming if you're just if you don't know the official answer, but I will shout out. See who got it. Golf Nut 04240. So shout out to Golf Nut.
It's Mr. Richard.
Oh, is it? Oh, I didn't know that. Wait, is it 2 different people? Okay, no, that's just a different name. Okay, I gotcha. Shout out to Mr. Richard. There you go. Somebody was guessing Kerry Kittles. I don't know why Was Kerry Kittles number 98? I don't recall for Brooklyn back in the day. I don't know numbers that great. I'm not great at like athlete numbers. I watch, some I guess, and once out of season or they retire, I just forget them. My brain doesn't recall them. You good with numbers?
Same way, yeah. Kittle's number 30.
Yeah, that sounds right. Now I can picture that. That does check out.
He was like in my prime trading card days.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. You big upper deck guy, big Donruss guy, tops, or is that after?
Whatever. I was only basketball, and that was back in like the 90s. Once it got to the 2000s, didn't really love it. And then, man, it sucks that like all the old Pokemon cards are worth a ton, but all the old basketball cards aren't worth anything.
Yeah. I have some like old Skybox cards somewhere in the corner. I have no idea where they're buried someplace, but it's all a lot of it's just a bunch of nonsense these days. And I couldn't even tell you how much 1987 Topps baseball I have. I think they made an insane amount of that for some reason. The ugliest backdrop too, but we should not deter the show here. We still have 3 games to go, 25 minutes until crunch time comes in. You got TJ Zwarych, one of the greatest DFS players in all of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. Of course, Roth is holding it down, like you said, the late swap of we got Chop coming in as well. Game number 4. Game number 4 is Sacramento and Portland. 230.5 is the total. It is high and it is tight. Levine, we already got his debut last night. Was that last night? I think it was last night. Am I making that up?
Yeah.
Yes, it was last night. On the road here in Portland. Portland's kind of fallen out of the tankathon. They've won, I think, 9 of their last 10 now. They just won too many games. I guess they're just kind of stuck in the middle. Sort of unfortunate for them. They didn't trade Robert Williams. Okay. I don't know what the market was. Supposedly they wanted a first, and that wasn't happening. Good luck with that. As far as who's in and who's out for Sacramento and Portland, Portland's injury report is perfectly clean. They're perfectly healthy. Sacramento perfectly healthy as well. I'm trying to think. Oh, Joval's available too. I'm confused. Do you know why they traded for Joval when Sabonis is going to play like 38 minutes? Is that like maybe Sabonis is going away? They're going to trade him like in the offseason or something? It was just a weird acquisition.
I don't know. Joval's like a guy that plays 18 minutes. He can probably just play a couple minutes alongside of Sabonis and be fine. But maybe Sabonis was like 80 and just wants to play some 4.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Steven Adams officially ruled out, which doesn't hurt Şengün, and doesn't hurt Tari Eason, I don't think either. So I think that's of note. That Steven Adams is not playing basketball tonight. Blazers and the Kings. In theory, knowing nothing else, right? We should be interested. 230.5 total and a 1-point line. But I don't know. It's fine. But I don't love this game. Do you love this game?
No, I don't. There's so many mouths to feed on Sacramento. We're still just, we're 1 game in for sample size with Levine. So we don't know what his usage is going to be like in this new offense. So, yeah, I don't love anyone on Sacramento, Portland. I kind of always want to be overweight on Avdia, but I don't know. He's just a guy that I like to play a lot for whatever reason. But I probably won't get there in my main lineup tonight. So I'm kind of with you. It's like a great game environment, but just not a lot of great pieces.
Bunch of players in the teens right now as far as ownership. Monk at 7.7K as far as the asking price, 15% ownership on DK. You mentioned Avdia. I don't mind that price at 6.6, just 30 minutes. I'd like a couple more, but you're getting a little bit of a discount there. 13% ownership. Simon's at 13%. So Boner, center and center only, 12%. You got Dominatin', who I rarely play him, but I guess you can. He's up to 7K now. Last game, he was super handsy. I don't know if you saw last game. He had 4 fouls in the first half. But I would say shout out to letting him get 4 fouls. I was
just going to say that, yeah.
Appreciate that, coach. Yeah, that's Billups, I believe. He didn't start him in the second half. I don't know if you saw. That's the reason why he didn't start. You're looking, yeah, because I kind of sort of get that, but like to some degree. But
he trusted him, but then he broke the trust. So you got to discipline him a little.
Well, like he said, he wasn't going to foul anybody else when he had 3, and then you get the 4th, and you did the 4th pump, and then that's what you got to pay the penalty. Murray, double D's, DeRozan. The rest is just, I don't know. It's not very exciting. Levine, man, like what? Like he's going to play a lot of minutes. I don't know if it's kind of a lateral move for him. Probably actually worse, right? I would say it's worse as far as the environment for Sacramento. Well, he would get more minutes. Maybe he would probably play a few minutes for Sacramento, but I think he was a little better as far as usage in Chicago. And like you said, the sample's small, but I just think that Sabonis is going to be ahead of him. Maybe not.
Yeah, I think that's the right take. I do love the Kings rotation, though. I mean, 5 guys above 35-minute projection. Love seeing that.
It's very Tibbs-esque. Yeah, with the new coach there, Christie. Monk 35 minutes as far as a project. It's basically 6 guys, right? Monk, Sabonis, Murray, DeRozan, Levine, and Ellis as their 6-man. And that's essentially it. Carter, Lyles, they gave Crawford 1 minute. Just the prices have kind of adjusted. But yeah, it's fine. It's fine. But, I think we're just kind of waiting. We're backloading for Golden State and the Lakers. I think this is what we're both going to be excited about. I'm fairly certain. What's going on? Jackson Carr is talking about Keon Ellis on FanDuel. What's his FanDuel price? I don't remember it being especially more appealing. He's 4.5 on DK. Good defensive player. So you get the stock bonus.
44.
That's a pretty good price. That's better. It's better. Whenever somebody's cheaper on FanDuel, it's kind of like than on DK. So he's fine.
How do you like the different slate sizes that FanDuel and DraftKings are always putting out?
I wish it was more uniform, but I also think choice is good. I like choice. I think choice, whatever works for people. It's like, how do you feel about late swap? I liked when there was choice. Yeah. But do what works for you. I have not, just by doing the show and it's hard for me to play both sites. So I tend to prioritize DK on some nights and smaller slates. I'll play more FanDuel, or I will play some FanDuel, but I just wish it was more uniform. And I think sometimes it's obvious that we don't need these last 2 games at 10 o'clock. We can cut them off and just run a 2-game slate or some showdown stuff, which I like the innovation of getting rid of them. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. From a player perspective, I think it's great to have more options. From a content perspective, I hate when they're different sizes because then you have to remember it. I think you've messaged me a few times being like, hey, this guy isn't on the DraftKings slate. And then we had the one night where they swapped it up and DraftKings had the late games and FanDuel didn't. And then
it was a Freaky Friday. It was confusing. I didn't understand what was happening. The DK guy worked for FanDuel and FanDuel dude worked for DK on a particular day. Okay, Golden State and the Lakers. By the way, clue number 5, we'll just drop this down for the people. Have a little bit of fun with it. The 5th clue for today's Sleep Thursday. We already got a winner, but the 5th clue today was Bush. Retired jersey 98 Sweetheart, and Bush is the 5th clue. Okay, let's talk about the Lakers, the Warriors, the back half of the TNT doubleheader. 222.5 is the total. No Luka just yet. No Mark Williams just yet. The Lakers, of course, are thin. They traded out Connect. So they're missing some pieces. Some pieces are coming as well. Golden State also back half of back-to-back. They got Santos that's questionable. Moody's questionable. Lindy Waters was traded. Lindy Waters, the third, was traded to, I believe, Detroit. Wiggins going to Miami Heat. Looney is available. Draymond officially available. Kyle Anderson, slow-mo, also traded to the Heat. Kuminga still out. TJD is probable. So they're thinning out. They're thinning out their rotation a little bit. They're whittling down their 17 players, Golden State. As far as the Lakers, who's in and out for the Lakers? Well, Luka's not there just yet. Maxi Kleber going to be out for probably the entire season, close to it. Reddish was traded away. Wait, he's still on the injury report? Wasn't he traded, Reddish? Reddish was traded, right?
I wrote something about him today.
It says he's on the injury report. It says he's doubtful for personal reasons. This is the Lakers injury report. Wasn't he traded, or am I making this up? He's on the Hornets. He's still on their injury report as doubtful. That's hilarious. Somebody get on that. Gabe Vincent is probable. How much do we like LeBron? Is LeBron going to be in your main lineup today?
Yeah, he is. He's my favorite spend. We have him projected for 60 fantasy points, which is the highest I can remember him being this season. Usually Golden State isn't a great matchup, but even without Luka, the fight total is still higher than their season average, which is something I kind of like to look at just to see where Vegas is at on a team each night. So yeah, I love LeBron. I think he makes the most sense as a spend-up option. And like I said, you can get him with Joker too, which is kind of fun. And then kind of just build a bunch of value around him. But yeah, it's a good game. All the values on Golden State. Last time I checked, the top 4 plays and point per dollar on DraftKings were all from the Warriors. You have Pods, Looney, Buddy Hield, Quentin Post. So yeah, I think it's a great game. And like you mentioned, just leaving options open for the last 3 games is going to be pretty important tonight.
How many Warriors is too many Warriors?
I guess it depends if you include Steph. If you're not playing Steph, I can play 4 of the value guys pretty easily. 3 or 4 of them.
I agree. If you're playing Steph, you probably stop at 3.
Yeah.
I ran some optimals. Well, you're right. I just checked again. Those are the first 4 point per dollar guys on DK specifically. By the way, Luka, they're saying now Monday they're starting the Luka game. I don't know if they're home on Saturday and some people like bought tickets up and spent a bunch of money because that was the initial report, like most likely Saturday, but now they're saying Monday. That just came down. Let's see. Most popular players that I have: Pods, Hield, LeBron, Looney, Nas. My least favorite amongst that group, I think it's Looney. Like what does Looney do to like break the slate? He can only score so many points.
I mean, I guess he can get 30 at 4K.
Yeah, okay. I can survive that. I would take 30. Do we like Looney more than we like Post?
I don't know. Probably. It's probably pretty close.
They did sign Post for the rest of the season. I think he was like a 10-day guy. And they did give him an official contract, so shout out to him.
Yeah.
He's a big. They can step out and hit a 3, pulling up his fantasy points per minute on the season so far. I think he's been pretty healthy. The minutes and then say it again.
Just above 1.
Yeah. I don't know anything about this guy, so I don't know where he came from. So I don't watch college basketball. I'm like, I don't know who, but like I watched him play a little bit for Golden State. I watched one of his I was watching like a G League mixtape or something like that. Ooh. And yeah, I did a little research one day. I'm like, who's this Post guy? Yeah, so far on the season, I got FanDuel open at 1.07. Pretty decent usage, over 21% as well. Yeah, Looney obviously not a big usage guy, but he gets there in other ways. Rebounds, good block guy as well. Second favorite Laker is who?
I'll probably go. I mean, tournaments, I do like Jackson Hayes quite a bit. Probably won't get there in my main lineup, but I like Rui. Probably won't get to Reeves tonight.
I think Rui's the guy that like doesn't fit this team going forward.
Yeah.
Once everything is settled, that they need like 3-and-D guys, and I think his three's been better this year. I shouldn't say that, but historically not a great 3-point shooter, right? Takes too many mid-range shots. By the way, I saw somebody in chat say they liked Shake Milton if Vincent's out. Vincent is officially probable, but I don't think Milton's like bonkers. Like, it's a small slate. If this game gets ugly, we can see Milton as a guy that would take a bunch of shots. It's not expected to blow out, but it certainly can. You never know. I mean, the Lakers weren't supposed to blow out the Clippers the other day, but they did. We're projecting Milton for just 20 minutes, but like he's 3-1. And if you're looking for a pivot, that's one of those, like if something early didn't work out for you and you're trying to play catch up, I think Milton's one of those guys, like secret door C or B, whatever you want to call it. And you're probably going to lose, so why not fully lose?
Yeah. I played a bunch of Milton when he was on the Sixers.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, last 2 games he's had over 25 minutes, 37 fantasy points, 42 fantasy points. So yeah, if he runs into a bunch of minutes somehow, I don't mind it.
I think part of that was blowout, but yeah, he's again. There's paths. There's paths, and we currently have him. Again, we're assuming that Vincent is in. I think we're giving him 20 minutes currently. And see, like the Hayes one, we're giving him 25. I think there's a chance he plays a little bit more. He's kind of like lost minutes because of not last game, of the previous game. He didn't play any in the fourth because of blowout. I guess New York, I think he played like 14 or 15 first half minutes. A different kind of team, bigger team in New York, but I do like Hayes, and this is his last chance. Williams, I assume, is just going to jump in and take that starting gig. I would imagine so. They gave up a Connect and a first rounder, and Hayes will go back to being relegated to second string. Still get some run. How about Reeves? You mentioned Austin Reeves. Is he just too much for us at this point? He's playable. It's a pretty scary price.
Yeah, he's expensive. We haven't seen the ceiling. Like right when they traded D'Angelo, he was putting up a bunch of big outings. Lately, under 40 in 6 of his last 8, which I don't know. Doesn't mean he can't get there, but I like LeBron better. And then, yeah, I don't know. I don't know who my second favorite spend is tonight. Do you have a second favorite?
Well, LeBron and Joker.
Yeah.
I
think.
You
can't play Joker.
I don't think it's Steph. I do like Harden. See, the thing is, I love the information gathering ability with Tatum. I just don't know if I want to tie it up. I like the flexibility of being, figure stuff out later.
Yeah.
So I know I'm kind of giving you a wishy-washy answer, but that's what I got for you. There's not a lot of passion behind my answer. And you're still figuring it out as well?
Yeah, I kind of like Zubac, but man, he's like got the best game log ever. But whenever I play him, he gets the dud performances.
And he's playing against your least favorite DFS player. I remember you saying this last time, which I thought was hilarious. Like you'll just never play Miles Turner. That's just the rule, right?
Is he still in the league? I don't even know.
Did you see? Actually, he did a very funny tweet. Like he was there was trade rumors about him, and he tweeted out, the Survivor logo, which is like outwit, outlast, outplay. He just tweeted out the logo, like he's Survivor. Well played. Well, he seems like a good dude. I watched the profile on him once, so he seems like a fun guy. All right, let's move on. Oh, well, we'll give the fifth clue to the people. Oh wait, did the people know what it is? Should we tell people what the Here's the rest of the clues that I had. I think we've given all 5 clues. Have they guessed it just yet in the YouTube? I think so. Retired jersey 98, Sweetheart, Bush. What else was on my list? Slam. Blackjack was on my list. Shore. So the person we're talking about, it is a trade deadline day, so I figured I'd pick somebody who's been famously traded. Let me ask you this. I couldn't get to this person because I couldn't figure out the clues. Who would you guess is the NBA player that has been traded the most in NBA history? And it's not PJ Tucker or Dennis Schroeder, but they're catching up. He recently, not too long ago.
Okay.
He was on the Heat. He was on the Lakers. He was on the Rockets. There's more. He was on
Trevor Ariza.
Was that the? Is producer Steve Googling? He's Googling. There's no way he got it that fast, did he? Did he Google? It is Trevor Ariza.
I didn't Google.
Look at you. Look at the big brain on Brad. That's impressive. I did not know that. I was like, well, but he's got already beat by 3 teams. Yeah, it is Trevor. I didn't know how to give clues for Trevor Ariza. But yeah, first clue was retired. Jersey is in reference to it's a bad clue. It's in reference to Jersey Shore, which I have 2 Jersey Shore references. 98 is not a number. People thought 98 was a number as far as like, number 98. No, 98 is famously the year this person did something very memorable. And Sweetheart, of course, is also a reference to Jersey Shore. Who can forget Sammy Sweetheart? And clue number 5, this person was famously traded by a Bush, a President Bush, the second Bush, Texas Rangers to the Chicago Cubs. It is Slammin' Sammy Sosa. That was today's athlete. All right. Pacers, Clippers, 229.5 is a total. We got crunch time coming in 5 minutes. 117 team total for the Clippers. Again, 5-point favorites. The Clippers versus the Pacers. Who's in, who's out? Well, Man was just traded away for the Clippers for what it's worth. Not a heck of a lot, but it's worth something, I suppose. Kevin Porter was also traded away, and I guess Bones Highland. What's the most memorable moment for Bones Highland for you for the Clippers? Do you have one off the top of your head? You probably don't. I don't think anybody does.
No. I remember playing him a lot at like 3K when he was on Denver.
My theory is if his name is like Todd Highland, nobody would even think he's good. So it's the Bones thing. Oh, I got to play Bones.
I do like the name, yeah.
Yeah, I got Bones tonight. Oh yeah, you're gonna win. As far as the Pacers, who's in and out for Indiana? Well, we have James Wiseman was traded. Did you see that? Shout out to Toronto trading for James Wiseman. I think it was a money thing. But otherwise, they're healthy, right? Nothing new with the Pacers. I don't like any Pacers. Do you like any Pacers?
Yeah, I like Miles Turner every slate. No, I'm probably not playing anybody on the Pacers, especially. I don't know. We'd want to spend up on one of the two expensive guys, but I just can't get there with prioritizing LeBron and Jokic. So I'm kind of out on the Pacers.
How about the Clippers? You talk about Zubac. I like Zubac a little bit. If he fits my build, and if I have like 3 or 4 spots left, maybe 5 spots, I will be backloading most of my lineups. If I have to settle on Zubac to make stuff work as the news flow comes in, perfectly fine with that. I mentioned I'm good with Harden as well. Powell and Leonard are just sort of fine. Not really much else. I don't like this game. Do you like this game? We don't like the Pacers. Do we like the Clippers? They're fine.
They're fine, but they're healthy for the first time all season, so it's kind of hard to trust any of them in small field stuff. Yeah, I like Zubac. 7,200 on DK is pretty good price. He can get you 50. He's done that in 3 of his last 8 games, so I like him a little bit. Don't mind the Harden call. Powell's the high usage guy that can get there, but I just don't think I'm going to have a ton of guys from this game.
Me either. Just trying to see if any news is coming in that's relevant. Did anything change as far as our projections significantly for the Rockets with Steven Adams out? Let's see. We got anything different to Chingun getting minutes bump? No, he did not. Tari Eason, 28. Whitmore, 22. We saw Shepard get off the bench and get loose last time. You really can't assume that's all that repeatable. Landell getting 9. Not that you're playing Landell. Nothing really new. I'm running some optimal stuff, and I'm trying to see. I guess we're still going to be getting a bunch of Warriors and some Lakers. Do have crunch time coming in here momentarily. Please hit that like button, subscribe, turn on those notifications. I dropped a poll today. I'm curious your thoughts, Noto. You tell me. Forget like it's a matchup agnostic, right? We don't know if it's matchup. Don't factor in that way. Which team are you most afraid of seeing in the playoffs? Right, the Western Conference playoffs. The 2 seed Memphis, the 3 seed Houston, the 4 seed Denver, or the 5 seed the Lakers. The seeds obviously can change, but who do you not want to see amongst those 4? Memphis, Houston, Denver, and the Lakers before you get knocked out by the OKC.
Yeah, I don't want to see Denver.
Oh, okay. Denver. Okay. I thought the Lakers are going to be like the answer that people are going to give just because of their recent moves and all that. But Denver's like, yeah, people kind of have them dead and buried, but you think they're still alive?
Yeah, I think they're fine. I mean, yeah, they're only a couple games out of the 2 seed. Not that seeds matter in this question, but yeah, anytime you got Jokic and I want to see Westbrook, win something. He's just the guy that everyone hates. I've always kind of been a fan.
He's really likable. It's just his game doesn't fit, the new
this
threes.
Day and age.
Yeah. And he still is like one of the fastest dudes in the court. He had 2 knee injuries. He's well into his 30s. Yeah, I like the. I don't know why he gets some unnecessary hate. I don't know if it's hate, but it's like I'm torn because I don't know how much he helps teams win, but I think he's fun to watch and really likable. If that makes sense.
For sure.
So, yeah, like when he's shooting his threes, it's tough. It's tough. But him and Joker have worked well together so far. They've definitely been compatible. All right, we have crunch time knocking on the door. We got TJ coming in. We have Roth coming in. We have Chop coming in. Without further ado, let's bring in crunch time right now. TJ, late swapped in. Is Kirkwood on the block? Is that what happened? I didn't see it go over the wire. Well, what did I miss? Or just hopefully everything's good in his world. But was that a late swap or I just misread an email, TJ?
No, that was a late swap. You're absolutely right. He's not on the block or anything like that. But with the trade deadline looming, sometimes you just got to rest on that day just to make sure everything's all good. All your things are sorted just in case. But no, he's good to go. Just needed a rest day today.
All righty. Chopper, are you excited for crunch time? It's so weird seeing you on crunch time.
No, I'm not. But I'm going to do it because I'm a team player. And if I don't do it, I might get the axe these days. You never know. So got to do what you got to do.
Everybody's worried on trade deadline day.
You're going to be hanging out with Cam Reddish these days. Roth, how are things?
Things are good, though. That movie Gladiator 2 really sucked. It's not worth it.
We talked about it on Twitter. It wasn't terrible. Like it wasn't the original.
It was a 5 out of 10. It was a perfectly skippable movie. If you have nothing better to do, go for it. But meh.
It's the CGI monkeys, and then if that wasn't enough, well, wait, hold on, we got a rhinoceros for you. No, hold on a second. The rhinoceros didn't chase you away. There are sharks too.
Yeah, they flooded the Colosseum and had sharks. I was like, what is happening?
That didn't seem financially responsible, did it? I know, like it might entertain the king for a day, but I don't understand. What about like tomorrow? You're gonna put on another show, right? They wrecked a couple ships. Spoiler.
It was outrageous.
Doesn't seem like it made a lot of sense. How much does a ticket cost these days to get those days to get into the Coliseum? I don't know. What do we rate TJ? Do we have it on your site? Do we talk about Gladiator 2?
We do have a review up on the site. I think we gave it like a 7.5 out of 10. The reviewer did for it or something like that. But I agree with every point you guys have made, but I also have no issue enjoying a ridiculous movie as long as it's fun.
Yeah.
And I did find the movie fun enough. I found my biggest qualm, even though I did find the CGI sharks and monkeys to be ridiculous with that one, was, I think Paul Mescal, the lead, did an incredibly good job of being the son of Maximus. I thought like he did that portrayal really well, but he didn't give anywhere near the same charisma as Russell Crowe to make that be like the movie star of that type of movie, to have it be like a Gladiator 1's type of blockbuster.
Yeah. And the twins together combined could not match Joaquin Phoenix either.
But they were still kind of crazy and fun.
Yeah, but just the bar's too high. Chop, you probably you got to have a take in this, no?
Yeah, I watched it for sure. I didn't. It was okay. Part 2 was watchable, but just not like you have such big shoes to fill that it's just. And then you waited like 25, almost 30 years or something like that. Like it was just probably never going to be good. Now you got Denzel. That's always a good thing. But the other
Training Day, it was like Training Day, Denzel.
The other acting really, like TJ said, really paled in comparison to the first one. So that's what made the first one. Like otherwise, it's just another Roman movie without Russell Crowe and Joaquin Phoenix doing their thing. You loved one, you hated one, and this one I was really indifferent to a lot of these guys. So it's just big shoes to fill. It was a watchable movie. If you had never heard of Gladiator, if that had never come out and that was just the movie right there, Gladiator 2 was actually the original Gladiator, you would have watched it and been like, oh, okay, whatever. But just big shoes to fill, man.
I love watching Roth. I think Roth gets really amused by Chop. I like watching Roth. You've always been fascinated by Chop.
I am. But no, that was a good take. Yeah, it's a good take. All right, you guys get out of here. We got to talk some hoops.
Take it away.
Okay. Good stuff. As always, Dean Noto. Welcome to it, ladies and gents. It's crunch time with two of the sharpest minds in the biz. Going to take you up to lock. We'll go through FanDuel. We'll go through DK. We'll answer some of your questions as well. We do have TJ Zwarych in the house. What up, TJ?
Not too much. Ready to dive into the slate, playing 150 lineups. We got a bit of a late start, but this is a fun one with the trade deadline being today. Probably the best trade deadline in NBA history, obviously, if you include the Luka stuff. And still no AD, still no Luka playing tonight for both of these teams, but we still got ourselves a fun little slate.
And is the trade deadline over now? I know today is the final day. It's over and done, or are we still waiting?
I believe it's done.
Okay. All right. I don't want anything to break here mid-show. We got a Headchopper in the house. Chop, how are you, man?
Hanging in there. I haven't done a crunch time in like freaking probably 5, 6, 7 years. I mean, it's been a while. But when you get the notification from Andy Means, you gotta jump. When he says jump, you gotta say hi, sir.
That's it. That's what you do.
Do it, man.
All right. Well, fellow Texan in Chop, we got the Canadian. We're bringing it here all across North America. Let's dive into the slate in general. TJ, let me know if there's anything I'm waiting on to break. That's all I really care about.
Yes, we are still waiting on Denver news, which I think is probably going to be the most important of the slate. Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, both listed as questionable. That's it in terms of things I really care about. There is still, Contavious Caldwell-Pope questionable, couple guys like Moses Moody, a couple guys like that will impact rotations, switch things up a little bit. But for me, the things that matter the most are those Denver Q tags. We still have Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon. I'm currently playing it as though Jamal Murray plays and Aaron Gordon I don't feel as confident about. But that will, especially if Jamal is out, that's going to impact things quite a bit.
Okay, good notes. Let's just dive into it. Chopper, we like to start on FanDuel at point guard. What do you like over there?
FanDuel point guard. Let me pull it up for you. Okay, so I'm looking at it and I'm thinking that first of all, it's a really weird slate in that the vast majority of this thing is going to take place about 3 hours from now. It's usually just a game or two late night, and they even cut it off. Yeah. So you got everything is the late hammer. If you get in early, that could be a bad thing. That's why, although Kyrie Irving pops in the projections with that lineup that just came out for Dallas, I'm not really in love with the Dallas stuff. So that may be a fade for me. There's a couple Boston guys I can turn, especially with Drew Holiday ruled out. There's a couple of like Peyton Pritchard now. I'm gonna run 5 lineups. He'll probably end up in 2 of my lineups for the salary and everything with Drew ruled out. But I think I'm avoiding the Dallas stuff. So James Harden over there looks really good projection wise. A guy that I don't think is getting a lot of love tonight that I think deserves to is Steph Curry. They're up against it, man. They got rid of Wiggins. All this value is popping on Golden State. They're going to be super chalky. But he personally doesn't look like he's going to be that chalky. So those are my guys that I like up in the high end of that stuff. Harden, Curry. I like Peyton Pritchard down low. Anything in between, maybe Derek White now with the Drew Holiday news. But those are the guys I'm really eyeballing at point guard.
Okay, TJ, your thoughts at point?
Yeah, a lot of similarities for me there. I think from a cash setting today, you're probably looking at Peyton Pritchard. 2 of Peyton Pritchard, Buddy Hield, and Austin Reeves at the point guard position. Whichever one you don't play there, you're probably playing at the shooting guard. Obviously, Pritchard only has point guard eligibility, but those are the guys I would be looking to go to in cash today. In tournaments, I don't mind the Curry call, even though because he's been terrible lately. He gets that matchup against LeBron now. Both of these teams are heavily undermanned because of trades that haven't gone all the way through yet. And so I like this spot for Curry quite a bit going up against the Lakers. James Harden at the late night hammer, I like quite a bit as well. Outside of that group, nobody I'm really too keen to try on FanDuel.
Take me to shooting guard.
Jamal Murray, if he plays, I think is somewhat interesting as well. But I'm with Chop. I'm not getting much Kyrie Irving today. Shooting guard, you're playing Podziemski in a cash game setting for sure. If you're not playing him at shooting guard, you're playing him at small forward. He's going to be ridiculously, stupidly high owned today. Upwards of 70% on FanDuel, upwards of 80% on DraftKings, depending on the tournament you're in. And so Podziemski is absolutely a guy you're playing in cash, but I think at tournaments at that price tag, definitely interested in getting to a little bit of lineups without Podsy. I think if I were playing 3, I would probably only put him in 1 and try and get very different from the field there. And so put him in 1 lineup that's getting different. And then as long as you're fading him, you can pretty much play most of the best plays, all the chalk options, and you're getting different enough by not playing him. So he is the best value on the slate, bar none, but he's going to be insanely high owned today. So in large field tournaments, you can get off of him. Outside of that, other shooting guards you can get to. We talked about Hield already. We talked about Austin Reeves. Jaylen Brown, I think, is pretty interesting. I like Anthony Edwards a lot, though, for tournaments tonight. I'm going to be looking to play as much Edwards as I can. You need somebody a little bit cheaper. Christian Brown, I think, is a really solid price tag on FanDuel. Only $5,700. John mentioned Derek White. I was thinking about mentioning him too. I think he's fine, but there's not as many great guard options as we've had lately. So I think if I'm trying to get somewhat different, I'd be looking to go all the way up to Anthony Edwards. or down to Christian Brown is my favorite tournament pivots off of the Super Chalk.
Okay, Chop, how are you handling pods, and what else do you like at shooting guard?
Man, I'm not gonna lie. I despise Podziemski. I hate him, man. Like, I don't like him. I don't like his attitude. I don't like the way he looks. I don't like his game. There's not a lot I like about him. But seeing how this is my first crunch time in a long time, I was really up against the wall with the time. I'm used to doing the Grinders Live. Then I got 30 minutes to figure it out. So I was like, let me just run some stuff, slightly manipulate it, and put it in there as a placeholder. And he's on all 5 of my lineups, and I hate that. And I want to try to get out of here. I got plenty of time because it's late night hammer, but I don't want that. But it's in there right now because he projects so well and is so cheap. Yeah. But I don't like him. He's one of those at this kind of a chalk, man. Is like you're just asking for trouble right there. So I'll figure that out. But guys, I kind of do like here. Obviously, you could always go Amin Thompson. He's just a stat sheet stuffer, man. In any matchup, he's just really good. So you got that one. I think Norman Powell's flying under the radar. We'll talk about his teammate in a minute. I really like, but Powell's fine too. And the one I really like here that I don't think is getting any attention tonight is Anthony Simons, who can really attack this Sacramento poor deep 3-point defense. I mean, if there's anybody on this team I trust to shoot 3-pointers, it's Simons, and he's getting a good matchup tonight. So, and this team's on fire, man. Don't look now, but Portland's hot right now. 9 out of 10 games they've won, and they're not going to make the playoffs or anything, I don't think. But it just goes to show you they're not like tanking anymore like they used to. So you've got that possibility of a big game out of him.
Okay, good stuff. How about small forward, Chop?
Setting aside the guys I just mentioned, who are also a lot of them small forward eligible. LeBron's going to be chalky, but he's deservedly so. I think he's questionable. I don't know if we have news. Maybe TJ knows if we have. Like, is he for sure in, or is there still a big question mark on him?
I think he's probable. If I'm not, he's probable. So we're definitely expecting him to play.
Yeah, assuming he's in, he's chalk, and he deserves to be. Still going to be without Luka tonight. Obviously, without AD now for good. And I didn't even get Roth's take on all that the other day when that happened. But I don't know if we got time for it. Maybe you can give it to me at the end, man. But I like LeBron because he's the focal point tonight. So you got that going for you. And Golden State's really weak. Like they're just weak right now. And then they just got rid of arguably their best defender or second best defender. So he's out tonight. That would be Wiggins. So I like LeBron. And the other guy I would mention at small forward, again, I'm looking for ownership and upside and all that. Low ownership with high upside. Franz Wagner against Denver. Should be a competitive game. Denver's not a great defense anymore. Franz is on fire. He's only 8,400 on FanDuel. I like that route.
Okay, good stuff. TJ, small forward.
Small forward for me. In regards to what I actually am going to do with Podziemski in tournaments today, I'm not playing on FanDuel, but I'm running 150 on DKs, even cheaper over there. I'm playing him in like 97% of my lineups, but then I'm playing one higher dollar lineup that I'm going to be fully fading him in. So that's kind of how I'm going to do it, is a single entry where I don't play him, but I'm almost having him in every lineup for the 150 max setting that I have. Love LeBron today. Definitely a cash game play on FanDuel. Anthony Edwards is going to be my favorite tournament pivot off of LeBron today. I don't mind the Franz Wagner call. I think Kawhi Leonard at 72 is a very interesting tournament play as well. Probably not going to play more than 28 minutes, but he's been putting up some decent scores in that time frame. So I don't hate him for tournaments today. Not a very strong position. It's one that I typically will like if I'm not playing Podsy, trying to spend up for. But Christian Brown at 5,700, Tari Eason at 5,600, and then Michael Porter Jr. at 7K, especially if Aaron Gordon or Jamal Murray are out, are going to be my top pivots for tournaments.
Okay, power forward, TJ.
LeBron, power forward eligible as well. Porzingis looking decent here. He's got power forward eligibility, and you get the extra points for blocks on FanDuel, but you also are locking him up at the first game of the night. Draymond Green is cheaper on FanDuel than he is on DraftKings. Anytime that happens, it makes somebody a very interesting play. So Green at 5,800 is totally fine. Not Jeremy Grant at 53 hasn't shown much of a ceiling rate recently, but you're pretty much ready to, like, you're pretty much good to get 5 to 6x anytime you play Jeremy Grant at this cheap of salary. Naz Reid at 7K is probably my favorite tournament option. And then Jason Tatum in like really large field stuff.
Okay. Chop, your thoughts at power forward, and then after that, take me to center.
Sabonis, power forward or center, which we'll talk about in a minute. But Sabonis is just a great play, just an awesome play tonight. He's going to crack double-digit rebounds. He's going to get a ton of looks at the rim, clean looks. That's what he thrives on. This is a very poor rim defense. Sabonis is an awesome play, and it's not that highly owned. Denny Avila for Portland in the same game. It's a really good game stack. Could go Avila. If you think Kawhi, if this game is competitive, Indiana is, I don't know. If you think Kawhi can somehow manage around 30 minutes, he's an awesome play. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I like the way the game sets up. Clippers, Pacers should be a good one. And the last name I'll throw for power forward is strictly like GPP, and it's purely narrative driven. The numbers really aren't there. But it's Draymond Green, because he always has these really nice games that he gets up for against his buddy LeBron. It's the only reason, right? He's cheap. He got that narrative going for you. Like a lot of these games on the schedule, he's just not there. He's just probably just mentally checked out or whatever. But you get him in there against the Lakers, LeBron, and a few other matchups in the league, and he's actually good. So I'd take a shot on him tonight.
Okay, good stuff. Take me to center, Chop.
And then the center. So I mentioned Sabonis earlier. I mentioned Powell. I like his teammate Zubac a lot tonight, except for some of the similar reasons that I like Sabonis. Kind of poor rim defense here for the Pacers, and Zubac should be able to eat a little bit in the paint here, and the rebounding is going to be good. Like Zubac. Mentioned some of the other guys already. They all overlap. The one name that I haven't brought up yet is Şengün. The Rockets against Minnesota. I don't think he'll get much ownership. He's a center-only guy, so that's going to drive it down a little bit. But he's taking on Rudy Gobert. That's kind of a bad matchup, except for he's played them twice this year, and Gobert has played in both games. He's got 120 fantasy points in those two games. He's averaging about 60 a game against Gobert. So I don't think this is really that big of a deal for him in a matchup. So if you're going to give me low on Şengün, man, I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. TJ, any names you want to add in at center before we kick it to DK?
Love the Zubac call. He's my favorite center play on the slate. I think he is absolutely awesome tonight. What if I told you, Roth, and he would be my preferred choice for a cash game center, I think, tonight as well. Some people may be looking to go to one of the super cheap options like Jackson Hayes, Quentin Post. I would way rather just Kevon Looney. I would way rather go to Zubac tonight and just try and save some salary elsewhere. Have LeBron be my only spend up on FanDuel. For tournaments, though, Roth, what do you think we're projecting for ownership for Nikola Jokic tonight?
Doesn't seem. I don't know. 10%. 10%.
Two.
That's. Yeah,
2%
seems wrong.
for Nikola Jokic tonight.
Yeah.
Just an absolutely phenomenal play on both sides, but especially on FanDuel. He's tough to get to at 12.9, but I don't think it's actually that hard to do. Like if you plug in Nikola Jokic at the center position, leaves you 5.8 for your $5,888 for your remaining salary positions. And so if you're playing the super low owned Jokic, you can actually then just play Brandon Podziemski in that lineup because Jokic is super low owned. You can play Buddy Hield and Peyton Pritchard, these cheap guys that are going to be somewhat chalky. Mm-hmm. Who cares? Because you're playing 2% on Nikola Jokic.
Yeah. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Guys, I want to kick it to DK first, though. I want to make sure you're getting the best deal in the industry for a limited time. Your first month of Combo Pro, $79.99. That's $15 more than PGA. It's only $5 more than our NBA premium, and you get literally all the sports. That is some good value. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up for us. We're going to kick it right on over to DK, and we'll do this grouped up. Guards, forwards, center. Chop, lead us off with your favorites at the guard spot on DK.
So I'd start off with a really, really cheap Steph Curry. I mentioned him on FanDuel, but he's only 8,200 over here on DraftKings. That's it's pretty good. I mean, between the two teams, they're missing some players. I don't expect it to be a blowout one way or another. So I like some Steph Curry. Talked a little bit about Derek White, but not enough. He's only 6,300 on DraftKings. Drew Holiday rolled out. Can't hurt him. Can only really help him there. So I like that. And his teammate Peyton Pritchard. Mentioned Simons and some of the other guys. And a lot of this overlaps. You could go Jaylen Brown. I worry though that Dallas is going to get run off that thing and get blown out pretty quick. So I'm a little leery of that game in general.
Gotcha. Did get a question from K-Town. Can I play Pods and Healed together, or is that just too much chalk? Because those are the two highest owned guards that we've got.
So, the salaries are cheap enough. You probably could. I don't think they necessarily eat at each other's production, so I think you could. But yeah, that is chalky. But I mean, I've always been thought that was a tad bit overrated, the chalk, because I just need to get different in one spot. Like if I got one guy who's 1% owned, the rest of it could be totally 100% owned. It doesn't matter if I got one guy. So I look more at, can I play these two guys on the same team, or do they eat at each other's production? I don't think they do, and they're cheap enough. So yeah, you could.
Okay, good stuff. TJ, your favorites at the guard spot, point and shooting guard on DK.
Yeah, so in my MME build today, I'm going to be absolutely loading up on Podziemski. I'm going to be playing him in 96% of my lineups. You can play Healed and Podziemski together, and like Shop said, all you got to do is get different in one place. How do you get different today? We'll get to it at center. But Nikola Jokic is down to 2% on DraftKings too for projected ownership. It probably won't be that low, but even if it's 8, who cares? Just an awesome tournament play today. Back to guard though. Podziemski is Healed and Pritchard are 3 guys that you're getting to in cash today. I like Christian Brown quite a bit as well. We're not projecting him for super high ownership, but I'm getting to about 30%, same as I have Healed and Pritchard. If you need somebody super duper cheap, I think Chris Dunn in the late night hammer is somewhat viable at 3,300 coming off the bench. Jaylen Brown in the first game, James Harden for the Clippers, and then Anthony Edwards I love as well. If you need, I'm taking a few shots on Jamal Murray since he's questionable, and I don't think anybody's going to play him, even though the matchup's pretty trash. But then I also have some cheapies like Shake Milton and Gabe Vincent for the Lakers today, just because they're down quite a few bodies. I wanted to have more Austin Reeves, but I'm actually pretty low on him right now, so that might be somebody that I try and bump up as we go.
Okay, good stuff. Bring me to the forwards. TJ, you get to do that. That is small forward and power forward on DK.
Naz Reid's actually going to be my highest owned guy here. I have 39% Naz. Love him tonight. MPJ, LeBron James, Christian Brown going to be my next tier. All those guys at about 30% for me. LeBron is the must-play forward in cash games today, but other than that, there's a few different options that you can go to. Norman Powell, Jaylen Brown, Naz Reid, Christian Brown, all of those totally fine. If you are playing Brown in cash, just make sure it's at the forward position, because he is a much better, there are much better guard plays on DraftKings than there are forward plays. I think Kawhi is decent for tournaments. Tari Eason is one of my favorite tournament salary savers on the slate. Some super cheap shots I'm taking that don't feel good, but I'm getting to a little bit of it, are Dorian Finney-Smith and Sam Hauser. And yeah, that's about it. Oh, and then Jared Vanderbilt I have quite a bit of as well. Vanderbilt and Hachimura, 2 Lakers that I didn't like on FanDuel, but I do like their prices on DraftKings.
Okay. Chop, was it Finney-Smith that got the smirk out of you? What?
No, it was
unrelated.
I got my NBA stuff open, and Kevin Durant did a tweet, and it was pretty funny.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it was a pretty good one. Pretty good. KD and his Twitter stuff is pretty good stuff.
What do you like at forward?
A lot of what TJ said is it's a what is it? A 6-game slate, but the way it's condensed with the ownership, it feels much smaller than that. I don't know why. So we're on we're going to see a lot of the same stuff. But LeBron is awesome. I mentioned Franz Wagner. Amin Thompson is 8,400 over here. I think that's still a pretty good price for him. He's had no problem in the Minnesota matchup this year at all either in the 2 games they played. Avila, I mentioned Powell before. The one I'll mention that nobody's talked about yet, Zach LaVine going to a new team. maybe he's unleashed a little bit more in Sacramento with this system than he was in Chicago. He's like, I want to say we got him at like 2 to 3% ownership tonight. Nobody's going to play him. And there's a chance Levine does something decent for under 8K. So I don't mind that.
Okay. Then bring me to the center spot shot.
Sabonis again, 9,600. He's a good spot. Zubac, 7,200. Good one. TJ's all over Jokic. Love that ownership on him too. Şengün, again, mentioned him. The guys I would like, we haven't talked about yet is DeAndre Ayton, maybe. He's been playing a lot better. He's getting the Sabonis, the Sabonis matchup tonight. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a pretty good matchup. Other than that, I mentioned Draymond. The one guy who's kind of cheapish on DraftKings, and I don't hate the matchup at all against Denver, is Gogo Batazzi. I think I'll end up over the field on him. 5 lineups. So it is not going to take much. If I play him in one lineup, I'm over the field. But I think there's a chance there against Jokic. He could do a little something.
Okay, good stuff. TJ, your favorites at center, and then we'll open it up to questions. We're like 4 minutes until lock already. TJ, what do you like?
Zubac is the cash guy, I think, and I still love him for tournaments. He's going to be my favorite overall center play. But for the super low ownership for large field stuff, it's Nikola Jokic for me. I'm prioritizing Quentin Post over Kevon Looney in terms of the cheap Golden State centers, getting you a little bit of Jackson Hayes, and then Porzingis, Gobert, and Sabonis, my last 3. But I do like Gobert quite a bit for super low ownership today.
Is Quentin Post like an old school big man? Does he work like back to the basket, or is he one of those new age stretch big men that's shooting threes? Do we know?
He shoots threes.
That's just a disgrace to your name and your height and everything. That is so disappointing. I was hoping he would be like a real grinder. All right, let's see what we got. A few QQs here. 3 minutes until lock. Pick one. DK Cash. TJ is for you. Vanderbilt, Cornette, Dunn, or Vanderbilt?
Vanderbilt.
Yeah. Okay. Chop, FanDuel single entry, rank them. Post, Hayes, Looney.
Looney, Post, and Hayes in that order.
Good. Okay. Chop, right back to you. DK, GPP, Harden, or your boy Saboner?
Oh, man. GPP's just Sabonis has like 20/20 upside tonight.
All right. TJ, back to you from a side. It's a FanDuel cash question. It's 3v3. Reeves, Brown, Hayes, or Zubac, Kamara, and Pritchard?
Second.
Okay. Scrolling up into the YouTube. Make sure you're hitting us with those like and subs. We go to Jackson's question, TJ. Single entry, MPJ and Sharp, or Dante Exum and Wagner?
Neither. I guess the second, though.
Okay.
Exum and Sharp aren't on the board for me.
Okay. Chop, what do we got here? Silva, Vanderbilt, Jones Jr., and Pritchard. What do you think about them as value pieces in DK GPPs?
Don't mind Pritchard. Don't mind Pritchard, the best one for me out of that group. Vanderbilt's okay. Derrick Jones Jr., and then Silva, man, boy, he could really just stand out there and wait in the corner and wait for a pass all night long and not get one. So he's kind of a distant fourth for me.
Okay, good stuff. Chop, thoughts on Vanderbilt over, he says Rua. Maybe he means Rui. Can you play them both?
I would not play. It goes back to what I was talking about earlier. Will they eat at each other? There's a chance those two guys could eat at each other's production. So I think ultimately, I guess if you're on DraftKings, I'll take the savings, the money savings, and go Vanderbilt.
Okay. TJ, Kevon Looney, birthday narrative, you in?
Sure.
It wasn't so too convincing.
Sure. All right.
Birthdays don't mean anything to me because maybe they're excited about the birthday, but maybe they were out partying the night before and they're going to be at their worst,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. FanDuel GPP, TJ, right back to you here. At shooting guard, white or green? He can't get up to brown.
Shooting guard, white or green? I forgot Jalen Green was on the slate. I'd go white.
Okay. DK Cash question here. Chop, Horford, Zubac, or Pritch and Reed?
Horford, Zubac, or Pritchard and Reed. Man, that's a tough one because, boy, I don't like Horford. Man, he's just he can be really bad, but he's in the better mix right there. But I'd go. I'd eat the chalk and go Reed and Pritchard.
Yeah. Okay. Chop, right back to you. We are seconds into lock. Where would you rank Strother amongst other small forwards if Aaron Gordon and Murray are out?
I mean, if they're both out, then you got a good play right there. But if they're not, then you're not in very good shape right there. So I don't know that. But if those guys are out, and if you're going to sit back and wait till 8:00 Central Time, that'd be a good play if those guys get ruled out.
Okay, good stuff. Guess what? We did the things. Hammer says, Kevin, can you wish me a happy birthday? Yes, happy birthday. You said that you were 67, or 69. I don't know if you were messing around or not, but if so, happy 70th birthday to you.
Wow.
Do we think he's messing around? I don't know.
No, because there's a lot of elderly gentlemen who watch the show, get in Discord, and play around with it. And it's great, man. It keeps your mind active.
That's true.
It keeps you from getting Alzheimer's and stuff. I love it, man.
Yeah, it keeps you hip too. You get to hear what the kids are saying when you're hanging out with Chop. You learn the lingo of the people. Hey, guess what? We hit the lock, and that means that we're going to bounce on out of here. So excellent stuff. Chop, what do you think? Your first crunch time was kind of a quick one. Not a lot of back and forth here.
Yeah, if that's a crunch time and I get paid the full rate for that, sign me up.
Do. Yeah, it's quick, it's easy.
Work smarter, not harder.
You don't have to listen to Dean, just going on and on. None of that. It's just straight to the content, man. Excellent stuff, Chop. It's good to have you. I'm sure we'll get to do more of those. For TJ, for Chop, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you tomorrow. You have